Hey guys, welcome to the Journey podcast, episode 9. This is our first week of calling it the Journey. Previously, it was the Team Destin podcast, the Illusion podcast, and now it's the Journey podcast. And today we're joined with MercShow over here to my, I guess, I don't know if my left, because I have to like, if I'm looking at the screen, it's my right, but I guess technically, I don't know. It's a direction. And then we have WickdCricket. And we also have BilltheConqueror. So thank you all so much for joining me today. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing, huh?
Doing good here.
Doing good. Excellent. So if anybody ever wants to be on the podcast, I'm going to be reaching out to some different streamers and stuff. But just hang out. Let me know if you want to be on, and we'll get you on. We do it every Saturday. Around 8 o'clock, and it usually runs about 2 hours, so just get ready. So let's see, what's everybody been doing this past week? Y'all been playing some games and stuff? Start with you, Merc. So you're on top.
Destiny.
Can't believe it, man. I can't believe it.
I stopped playing for probably a season or two, and I don't know, Beyond Light and the whole sunsetting thing kind of just sucked me right back in, and past 2 weeks it's been full-time Destiny.
Nice. So the sunsetting is motivating you to play? Is that what I'm hearing?
Kind of. I don't know. It's not just that. It's also just the excitement of actual DLC dropping and hopefully some more substantial content. Like
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But yeah, no, it's just been full on Destiny right now. It's just catching up. I was already super behind because I didn't play the first several years of Destiny 2. I got right around Forsaken, so.
Gotcha. That's fair. Did you play any of the first Destiny? Or
Oh yeah.
You played a lot?
Yeah. I played the alpha, the beta, the original DLCs. Like it was when they made the switch to D2 where I was like, I played it for like a week, I think maybe 2, and I was like, I'm out. I'm like, I'm good.
Interesting.
I don't want to. I mean,
yeah.
I was good for a while, and then 2 years later, I was feeling that Destiny itch all over again.
Yeah, I'm assuming you were on PS4.
Yeah.
Because I assume that because you were playing Final Fantasy. So. Oh, okay, yeah. And what about you, Wicked? What have you been up to, man?
Man, kind of a similar story, man. I would say I've played more Destiny in the past week than I have in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what drew me, like what was the thing that drew me in, because there was a time, like I'd say, like I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got on Destiny. I was like, man, there's a lot I have to catch up on. I went to the tower, I looked around, and I literally like got anxiety, and I was like, nah, I'm out of here. And I was in the tower for like 15 minutes trying to figure out what's the first thing I do. Yeah. And but for whatever reason, I'd say about maybe 5 or 6 days ago, I turned it on, I got in, I started with the quest line, and I just took one step led to the next, and I actually probably put in double-digit hours this week into Destiny. That's the first time that's happened in quite some time.
Same.
Quite some time. So
yeah.
Like
Brosine said, this season is very banging. I'm really enjoying this season so far.
Well, I will say another reason why I got back to Destiny is because Brosine right there. He was the one. A lot of my friends started playing again, and everyone's like, hey, Destiny.
Yeah, that really changes the
there's been a lot more people like active, it feels like, this season as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And you've also been playing sorry Phil, but you've also been playing COD and stuff too, right, Wicked?
Yeah, that's what I'd say. I've primarily been the past 2 months. I was playing Valorant super hard when it came out, and then I couldn't put the hours in everybody else was putting in, so I was just getting slapped on, and so I switched over to COD, and I've been pretty exclusively playing Warzone for about the past month and a half, and really been digging that. I've been playing COD since COD 2 when it was still World War II, old World War II.
Yeah, that's also when I started. Yeah. Good times. And what about?
I loved Warzone. That was what I was primarily playing before Destiny. Was
really?
Warzone. Yeah, I was really heavily into it. Yeah. I still want to play it. It's just
Yeah,
Destiny.
it's just I have the same problem because I haven't played for like 2 weeks, and I want to go back and play multiplayer and finish the story and stuff. So
yeah. Yes. So for me, I picked up Warzone a couple months ago. Because I had some friends that played Warzone and I wanted to play with them, and they're like, we don't want to play Destiny. I'm like, okay, you want to play Warzone? We'll play Warzone. That is the first BR that I've ever played. I didn't play Fortnite. I think I played PUBG twice, but I didn't really get into it. But I started getting into Warzone, and I have to completely readjust how I play, how I think, focus on loadout. I have to focus on what does my loadout give me so that I can do those things well. So then I have to go in and readjust my loadout based upon the map. I think I had like 3 total loadouts with different perks and different weapons. And so based upon where I am in the map and where we're going to be going, I choose my loadout that way. And then I have to not remember. I have to remember that I'm not a Titan. So I'm just an average dude because as a Titan, I just run at things and smash them with my head. So
yeah, you can't do that in Warzone.
You can't do that in Warzone. You have to think about what you're shooting before you shoot it. And it's like I can have 200 rounds of ammo and it won't matter because if somebody snipes me across the map, I'm dead and that's it. So
no, you're not wrong, man.
No, BRs are a totally different beast. Like you have to. It's a totally different genre of a game, and it's something that we kind of got used to with Fortnite, and then obviously PUBG and Fortnite, and then Apex came, and it's like kind of like a learning process. Still, it's still getting used to, especially like with old time Call of Duty players. You know what I mean? The multiplayer, like you run and gun, and Warzone's kind of. You can still do that to some extent, but you have to be also very patient at times.
The armor makes a very big difference in terms of like just running gun and like the twitch shooting and stuff. I feel like because Call of Duty is also in itself just very different from like Destiny or like Halo,
or even the other BRs. It plays different than Apex or Fortnite or PUBG.
So as a group of people who have played Blackout and Warzone. I never played Blackout. So
I love Blackout.
I also didn't play Blackout.
Okay. So and I don't know this answer. I've always wondered because I have some hardcore COD friends. I mean, they're like COD 100%, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. And and I've always been wanting to ask people, how do you feel about the differences between Blackout and a Warzone?
Wicked, did you play Blackout?
Yeah, absolutely. I was on console. I was on PS4 when I was playing Blackout.
Okay.
So it's a little hard to maybe perfectly compare the two because I've exclusively played Warzone on PC. But I really dug Blackout. I think that the two played similarly. Depending on where you were in the map, it could have a lot of effect on the weapons you have. I think you get a little more. I feel like you get a little more freedom in Warzone compared to Blackout, just because you can buy loadouts, you can buy your friends back, you have a chance to get in the gulag. The map is bigger. There's more modes to play. So there's a little more freedom. There's a little more to it. But Blackout, especially at the time, I mean, that was kind of like Merc was saying earlier. I was exclusively playing Blackout, and I was not touching Destiny almost at all during that time, and neither were any of my friends. And that's actually the first time I think I linked up with people like Enviro and Murticide and a lot of those guys, was us playing Blackout together. And that was a ton of fun.
I miss Blackout. Like I really, really enjoy Warzone, and like he said, they played very similarly, and he's right. Warzone does have a lot more freedom. There's a lot more things you can do than Blackout. Blackout was a little bit more linear as far as like a BR went, like pretty much one mode, or play with your buddies solo, whatever. You couldn't get loadouts. I don't think you could get anyone. No, there was no buying anyone back or anything like that. And
yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
yeah, like I remember it. And maybe it was just because I played like this. It was Snipe Fest. Like I just remember you wanted to get your hands on a sniper. You wanted to be able to take like, I don't know. I missed Blackout. I really, really enjoyed it, and it really made me sad that it like died off the way it did. I wish it would have like continued to go longer. Like I remember trying to play it on PC once I got into PC, and it was like impossible to find a PC game. Like nobody was playing it.
Oh
and,
wow!
Like, I was on there for like 20 minutes in a queue one time. Like,
Yeah, I remember a lot of big streamers because like I said, I wasn't playing PC at that time, but I remember a lot of people I watched play Blackout at that time were complaining about lobbies, not even Blackout lobbies, but multiplayer lobbies too. And a lot of them were PC players. They were pulling out their consoles to play, because of those wait times and stuff like that. So
I almost did that after waiting in that queue for so long. I was just about to pull out the PlayStation. I was like, well,
yeah.
I can't find a game here. I'll find a game there.
Well, and Warzone has a crossplay, so it's not really something you have to worry about. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
which is huge, and that I honestly I credit to that. That's a big reason why Warzone is so popular, is because of the crossplay. Like if you look back on it, any game that has crossplay does decently, at least.
Oh yeah.
When I play multiplayer in COD right now, in Warzone or in Modern Warfare, most of the lobbies are 80 to 90% console, because I have it enabled to play with both. Most every lobby I get is 80% Xbox, PS4. So I imagine when I'm getting into Warzone lobbies, it's primarily console players. I can't. It's harder to confirm it there.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to bet it looks similar. So I think that's probably why Blackout was not as highly accepted as Warzone is, because it wasn't cross-platform. I wonder if it came out right now today, cross-platform, how it would stack up.
Oh,
that'd be interesting.
See, and that's interesting. Kind of drawing it back to Destiny. I mean, I thought, and I believe the numbers also spoke to this, when Bungie did cross save, not cross play, but cross save, that opened up a lot of other opportunities for the community, because like me, like say for example, I play 100% on PC. However, if I bought an Xbox and got Destiny, I could take everything that I have, everything that I earned, and not have to start over from scratch. And that's huge for some people.
Oh yeah.
I jump into my living room and play on my Destiny account now on my PlayStation all the time.
Yeah. I'll probably be doing that more once it comes out on like PS5 and it's at 60 FPS and hopefully has an FOV slider.
even when even when I got my PC, I built my PC, I continued to play Destiny on my PS4 because I think after I built it, it was still 2 or 3 months. They had announced that they were doing the cross save. They had announced it, so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to start over on PC. I was just playing on PS4 for another couple months, and honestly, I didn't play a lot until cross save came out, because I was like, I wasn't enjoying the game that much at the time anyway. So I wasn't playing it that much, so I wasn't feeling like I was missing out on the PC experience, because I wasn't really playing the game anyway. So
I'm still shocked on how well optimized Destiny is for PC. Like I since I've switched to PC, I've played multiple games, and Destiny is the first game that I've had the least amount of problems with. Like rarely. I think I've had one forced close, and it actually feels good. I don't know. I think it's very well optimized for PC personally.
It's well optimized, but it's been having a lot of networking issues recently.
I think that's the player base coming back.
It's because of the move to Steam. That's
Yeah.
That's funny you mentioned the dropbacks or getting aired out of Destiny. That I'd say it's probably happened to me 3 or 4 times ever on PC. And one of them was Thursday in the raid with Journey.
Yeah.
We were with Journey and Bill. We were running the raid, and I was just like, my game's frozen.
Wow.
Nothing's happening. I was like, I gotta shut it down.
I'm gonna knock on wood.
That's because we were raiding with text though. Because in that same raid, I had an issue where I couldn't move my mouse at all. Like my mouse cursor wasn't doing anything.
And that happened to me early. And I was trying to tell you that the exact same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
This is weird. Yep.
Never experienced that before in Destiny.
Well, my buddy Arcane, he's always dropping out. I'm just like, man. So maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe.
I got port forwarding set up, so I don't drop out as much anymore.
I watched someone get beavered out of 5. I think was the record he got to 5 PvP games in a row.
Oh my
beavered
God.
out 5 in a row. It got to the point where I think I was just laughing so hard at the like I felt bad, but I was like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, and there was the ongoing meme. What was it, like a month ago when they had that live public event in the tower when all the war sats took down the Almighty? There was a bunch of Twitter threads right as it was coming to an end. A bunch of people got beavered right out of town. Like, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. It's like all these memes, like, of course.
Oh my God. It's just like the screaming videos where it like cuts out right as they start to scream.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Big goof.
What do you guys think of the live event in Destiny?
So the event,
it's funny to watch everybody's face.
so I think so the event itself, I think, could have gone better.
Yes.
But I also think from a business standpoint that Bungie's been making their new game right under our noses. So if you go back right before Shadowkeep, they had that big thing where we want you to do like 2 million instances of a escalation protocol, right?
Yeah.
So that was a test to see if their servers could handle one event being just overloaded. And people did escalation protocols just all over and over and over, and we smashed the record. Well, I think that this live event was meant to do 2 things. 1, how many people can we fit into the tower?
Mm-hmm.
2,
actually a good point. Yeah.
So, and then 2, can we do a live event like this? So just as much as it was for us, it was for just as much as it was for us, it was for Bungie. I wish there would have been like a short little mission right at the end where we could go to the crash site of the Almighty and kind of look around at stuff. They didn't have it.
Cut scene.
Something just to walk in and go, oh, that was kind of cool. But no, we got it crashing into the outskirts, then we got a piece in the tower. Oh, okay. Well, it was fun. I think the idea was to bring the community together, and it did. I got to hang out with my friends, and we sat in chat, we goofed off, we memed all over each other, we tried out our emotes, we had a great time. I liked it personally. It was a great time with friends, but I also think that what Bungie is doing is they're running tests in real time.
No, you're absolutely right. It does make a lot of sense. Like, I think the whole thing could have gone a lot better. Like, I forget what the start time they said was. Was it 1, 2, or 12? I forget. But the point is like they should have said that the start time was an hour before that. So then, like, when all the little rays or whatever are coming down, people start going on Twitter like, "Oh, something's happening!" Like before, like what's going on? and then the actual like last half an hour or so would have started, and then you know what I mean? It would have gotten the hype build up before the actual show would have happened, and people would have been sitting there for because I know for me, I rushed home to get here on time to log in, and then I'm like sitting there
hurry up and wait.
Like over an hour, and
they delayed it 30 minutes to give people a chance to log in. Because there were connection issues.
With my family today, like, can we move? I felt kind of, like a jerk thinking that, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't be sitting here for 2 hours. Like, come on.
Well, so that whole event happened on Tuesday at a reset. So basically, they did a game-wide, platform-wide, PS4, Xbox, and PC public event in real time. So they didn't have to take the game down for an hour to load anything in. They didn't have to. So that
was very impressive.
Right. So what we saw was about that much of the work they had to do. I mean, they must have been planning this for months and coding and testing and coding and testing because, I mean, as somebody who has tried to learn to code, and I'm horrible at it, but I know enough to know doing something like that in real time is super hard to pull off. And you can do all the testing in the world, and it doesn't matter. Something will pop up. A great example. This last Tuesday, the Ordeal Nightfalls were bugged. And and that
level, right?
Yeah, it was 750.
That just happened. They don't know why. That Nightfall, that whole sequence has been fine for months. It's been fine. They just loaded it in, they rebooted. But for some reason, something they did, probably probably on the other side of the game, in a completely different file somewhere, caused this one to bug out. So that just tells you how massive Destiny is. Just huge game.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they're cutting out all this content. So
exactly.
They can,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about this before, or I was talking about this before, like it sucks that they're cutting out all that content, but at the same time, I get why they're doing it. Like it's got to be just a super complicated.
Every time they try to introduce something new, something breaks. So it's very obvious as to why they need to do it.
And if you think about it, so the game engine that they built it on is now really, really old, and there's better technology out there. So do you make a Destiny 3 and force us to reboot everything, or do you make a new game as we go? And that's why I think why I think they went to the drip content, because you can put out little bits here and there. And if you pay attention, it's actually pretty interesting. But you can do bits and you can fix things as you go a little bit at a time. Or you can take the whole thing down and redo it. Well,
that's what Fortnite did, basically.
Exactly. Each has its drawbacks. Each has its advantages. One of the things that users in general hate is being seen as testers. But that's really the only way to pull it off. People want a finished product all the time. Well, the truth about Destiny, it's never finished. It's never finished. There's no way to physically do everything in the game. It's not possible. So it's always evolving and always growing. And so doing the drip content, while it kind of pisses us off in a sense, it gives some people, especially the newer players, a chance to go back through some of the older content and do it. So
yeah, we actually went pretty in depth with that 3 or 4 weeks ago on the podcast, because we had a guy who was into development and knew that like kind of, I guess, development model and stuff, because it's a guy who I think you've seen MercShow, Old Boy.
Yeah.
So he's a Star Citizen guy, and they use a lot of the same kind of development cycle as well.
Well, like at my work, we've had our hands in developing apps and stuff, and basically, like Funny Man was saying, like when coding's involved, you try to fix something, and then something else breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but then you're trying to replicate that breakage and then you can't replicate it because you're on a different operating software, and this person's running that, and this person hasn't updated in 2 weeks, and da 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 da, and like there's all these different factors that can go into something breaking, and it's just trying to iron out bugs in any coding. I can only imagine in a video game world how complicated and annoying it is. And like I when people complain about a game or stuff, I try to think of that side of it. I'm like, the game's still running. 95% of it's still good to go. Like there's one part of it that's not breaking. Let's all chill a little bit.
Yeah, like y'all might have missed this earlier, but I was playing Morrowind, and I was modding it today. And if you add a mod and you add another mod, eventually something's gonna break, and you don't know if you need a compatibility patch or what's going on. So I spent a couple hours testing that. So even from that perspective, I totally get it.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get into our main topics for the day. So the first one is, what are we going to be doing to prep for Beyond Light? The next major expansion is releasing in September. How are you enjoying the current season? What do you need to do before the next before the next expansion and the destinations are retired? We're gonna start with Wicked because he hasn't had a chance to speak for a little bit. I'm not gonna say it's Bill's fault,
I've been playing the least Destiny here of everybody, so there's a reason I'm speaking the least.
Tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much, please.
Hey, so I mean, I'm gonna just start off with this. I foresee myself playing Destiny a little bit more than I have in the past. I can tell you that the points where I play the most Destiny are typically at the year end. So as in the push to the brand new year and the start of the next brand new year. Those are always the times. So, let's just say August, September, October, November, in those 4 months. Because I get to the point where I feel like, you know what, this next year's coming up. Of course, I've been playing. I'm a day one D1 player. So I've got a lot of time invested in this game. I've never played any other game as long as I've played Destiny. You know what I mean? I've never. Call of Duty is the only other game I would say that has spanned throughout the years. But every Call of Duty is different than the last, and it's not as multi-layered or complex as Destiny, in my opinion. But I always get that fear of missing out, up to the new season. I'm like, shit, I guess I need to get on. I need to start doing some stuff, so when that new year comes out, I'm here and able to go up, and I'm not starting here, at a disadvantage from everybody else.
For sure.
I always feel that fear. Now, technically, the same thing happens every new season. Every new season, light level increases. My light level right now is 10-10. I'm way below everybody else. But at the same time, the only things I'm wanting to do right now with Moments of Triumph, I don't need to be 1050. I don't need to be 1060. I'm running all the old raids. I'm well overpowered for that. The only thing that I'm underpowered for is Trials.
And the Prophecy dungeon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple of things here and there.
Yeah.
But for most of the content to get Moments of Triumph done, which honestly is my only goal before the next year comes out, is
trying to do it all.
Yeah, is trying to get enough done, in Moments of Triumph, and in Trials, 7 wins. I can, even at 10-20, if I have 2 friends playing with me, I can get 7 wins. I can get 7 wins even if I'm under level. Even if it takes, 15-20 games, I'll get 7 wins. I'm not worried about that, Now, will I get up to power level? Yeah, I'm gonna just organically be doing things and getting power drops from certain things to do in the completion of Moments of Triumph. But specifically to the new season, and if we're talking like the storyline and where I think Destiny's headed, I think that this upcoming year, with what I've seen from this new season, and the fact that they've been teasing this since the start of D2. You could see behind me, I have the collector's edition of D2. In that book right there, there are pictures of those Doritos. 3 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've had that in their back pocket, and I think they've just been waiting for their game to get optimized, because let's be real, it wasn't really optimized in year one. It was a big let's say 180 in year two, to try and get things back on track. And then year three, I think, with Destiny running optimally and having pretty decent content, minus the whole trials thing, and people were like, there's not enough PvE stuff, minus that discussion, I think year three has technically been their best year, with stuff to offer. It started off with Garden of Salvation, right? That was the start of year three, and then in all the way into now. I think that this storyline is going to develop into year four and really have a lot to give and to bring. I think more so than any other year of Destiny so far, because they've never prepped. Really, they've never prepped one season before the new stuff comes out. They've never really prepped what's going to happen.
Well.
Yeah, they're never going to prep. They haven't prepped what's going to happen. Even in D1, they didn't prep what was going to happen for. They sort of did for Taken King. You could kind of argue that a little bit. They sort of prepped for that, but not really for Wrath of the Machine. And then
there's a lot more build up.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that this leads to more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like character driven stuff, that I would compare to Forsaken with Uldren and with Cade, and I think that was some of the best character stuff that they've done in Destiny ever. I hope that we see a little bit more of that. And I think with some of the ambiguousness, did I just make up a word? I think with some of the ambiguity that is going on with this season, I think some of the ambiguity that's going on with this season is going to help with that. Oh, I wonder who's the leader? Who's the person behind the what do they look like? What are they gonna, so I think it's a good build up, and I think it's gonna be moving overall, like I said, in the best direction that Destiny's had in a rollover from the end of one year to the start of the next.
I think you're totally right, especially about this year, because every season the story has led into the next season. Whereas with Forsaken was great. The story in that was great. But, like, the Forges and Gambit had nothing to do with, like, everything else. Because we had, the Menagerie, and then I guess Gambit Prime and Gambit was its own season, and then Forges, and was it Ada 1 and her stuff, that was another season. And, like, none of the story for that really connected with each other. And so, for this year, they've been doing a much better job of having that through line for the story content.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just like, even what's going on right now with all the Doritos, so to speak, just the backgrounds and the spaceships flying around, and like, it's just it feels like when you're in the game, something's coming, something's happening, something's about to happen, like something big. And
well,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so if you go to IO where the old contact event was, and you roam around, you get these kind of randomly spawning public events where you'll have a blight pop up and a couple of bosses and then one of Savathun's marionettes, and it's the same gameplay as gameplay as the contact public event, but it's sort of like random. So you have one that'll happen near Asher. You'll have one in Giant Scar. You'll have one in the Lost Oasis, and it's sort of like a randomly spawning thing. And oh yeah, I loaded in Tuesday, dropped into IO, and I looked up like, oh, there are ships here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you do that mission, then you go to IO, or you go to a Mercury, and you walk into the lighthouse, and now it's dark all of a sudden. You look like, oh, that's a big ship right in front of the sun, brother there. That's a really big ship, and so there's definitely something going on because you can feel it in the game. It's what Bungie probably did is that they went into like the sound files, and they kind of changed the underlying vibe of how each planet feels. And so when you drop in, it's not something you can point at and say, oh, that sounds different or that sounds different. It's just a slight change in the way everything is tuned, maybe, and it just feels weird. So
yeah. So do y'all think you'll be playing Destiny like pretty consistently before the new season, or the new expansion? And do you feel you're gonna play some other games in between that? That's kind of one of the things I was thinking about when Cricket was talking about this time of the year is when you kind of settle down on Destiny and focus on the game. But I think there's also fewer games that release during this time period as well.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Cricket made me realize something when he was saying how he normally plays the most at the end of the year going into the next year and the beginning of the new year. And I was sitting here thinking when he was saying that, I'm like, I think I do the exact same thing actually. Like, because that is the way, because I'm just like, oh, New Year's happening. Like, let me get all the stuff that I missed the past year and kind of play catch up a bit. In regards to whether or not I'm going to be playing it more consistently, because like I said, the past 2 to 3 weeks have been pretty much full-time Destiny lately.
We'll say relative to the past couple months.
Yes. Yeah. Like before, I missed the whole last season before. I'd even log in for the one before this one, and I think I played halfway before the one before that. But I've always said I'm a variety streamer, and I don't know. I've always liked to play a variety of games, but Destiny's just got a hold of me right now. And whether or not it keeps a hold of me, I can't say. I guess it kind of depends on how much I play of it. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with Destiny right now because it's been a very long time since I've just been wanting to play Destiny all the time, nonstop, constantly, and that's where I'm at right now. So I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
So for me, I'll be playing it at the same rate that I play now, and I play it quite a bit on and off stream. I do have specific days during my week that I play Warzone with friends, or I might play another game just to break stuff up. But the reason I'll be playing more Destiny 2, or just as much as I have going into this next season, is that I think one of the keys to making next season work for each individual player is to find the loadouts that serve each situation. So I've been going through and playing with the charged with light stuff, and seeing how it works with rocket launchers and sidearms and trace rifles and swords, and seeing what works best in given situations. Like you do the prophecy dungeon, and I have people that swear up and down the only thing that you bring for the the boss phase at the end is hierarchy. Well, and then I have people that swear up and down, no, you have to have a hunter with bubble, you drop it on his foot, then you use swords. And like, okay. But then I've also had people say, if you just bring a heavy grenade launcher, doesn't matter what it is, you'll be fine. So there's so many different ways to play the game that I think finding what serves each individual situation. And on top of that, the first couple weeks of any season are always extremely resource heavy. So you need certain things to get certain mods. You need so many cores and so many shards and so many upgrade modules and to make things work. That I'll be definitely grinding all that stuff, because I remember going into Shadowkeep. I spent a good 6 weeks just grinding the crap out of bounties, getting all the planetary materials that I could, making sure I had enough tokens from strikes and all the gunsmith materials and everything that I could get my hands on. Well, it actually paid off very well for me going into Shadowkeep, because I leveled up really quick, and I must have had like 2,000 of every single Seraphite and Tuskalite shards and Baron boats, because I seriously 4 hours a day was just grinding bounties, making this all work. And so I think that going into the next season will be, you not only have the regular planetary materials, but you also have the recaster too. So
yeah. I'm curious what's going to happen with the materials for the locations and destinations that are going away. So we'll see what happens with that.
I know it's kind of the reason why I'm doing all the old raids, is I need to get those exotics I never got.
Yeah, a lot. I still haven't even gotten Acreus, and that's year one. That's year one.
I need to do prestige so I can get the catalyst for Acreus.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I need so I have the Acreus. I don't have the real version of it. I have the version where it only has one, like it was one perk on it, and then you have to go through and do a bunch of crap in there. Anyway, that's so going back through, and Thursday, like I was doing Thursday, I went and ran with JourneyJohn and Bill on Garden for the very first time, because
I haven't ran it yet.
of the seven of the 7 raids that are out, I've done Leviathan, because that was year one, and that was the only thing to do. So I've done that several times. Maybe double digits on that one, probably double digits, but not more than 20 for sure runs at that. I've run Crown of Sorrows one time to get my jacket. I've run Scourge one time to finish last year's Moments of Triumph, because I needed I needed like 2 things. Another raid. Like it was like I had to do one more raid plus something else. And so I was like, well, I know Scourge is the easiest one. Hey, can anybody help me do this? I got 5 guys who knew how to do it. We ran through it in less than an hour. Those are the only raids I've ever run. And so, I had a ton of fun on Thursday. I had a ton of fun in that raid, because let's be real, it felt like, even though it was my first time running that raid, and I didn't really know what to do, but like it reminded me of raiding in Destiny 1 because of who I was playing with. We were laughing, we were having a good time. Tex was there, and Clint was there, and like everybody had some kind of everybody at some point had something dumb or silly, like oh, hang on, my kid's falling asleep. Like if he falls asleep now, he's not gonna go to bed later. Like
exactly.
Hey, my game crashed. Like I mean, all kinds of just dumb errors that would piss. I feel like would have pissed if I was running with any other crew they all would have been like, oh, jeez, all right, well, we'll wait, and that's
one of the great parts of raiding is when you get a group like that can just have fun together, and like even if you wipe like 5 times, you're still laughing or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that day and that raid and that run alone, like, has kind of made me feel like, you know what, I am gonna continue to play Destiny consistently, because I have not. I mean, there was probably, I would say, in the month of June, I didn't turn the game on one time, not one time. And I haven't streamed it yet. I have not streamed Destiny in probably about 2 months. And even the past few days, I've been playing it a lot. I've been playing off stream. And one time, I think it was Friday, so it was yesterday, I was like, you know what? Am I going to stream Destiny tonight? I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know. I got this weird feeling. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to stream it again. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that, but I was like, I don't know if I should stream it yet. Let me fall in love with it again before, I try and fake me enjoying the game. Cause that's one thing I don't like doing is acting like I'm enjoying something when I'm not, so.
I've said it multiple times on stream. Destiny, for me at least, is one of the harder games to stream. And I say that because, like, there's a lot of, so take for instance, if I'm playing like a single player game, like, I don't know, God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us, whatever. Like, these games are easily, you can get into a conversation, you play and you're conversating. You can even pause the game and continue a conversation if it starts to get serious or whatever. You know what I mean? There's not as much pressure. You're not playing with anybody, yada, yada, yada. When you play with Destiny, you're usually playing with a group. That group's talking to you. You're trying to communicate. You're trying to interact with chat at the same time. And then there's other times when you're playing PvP or you're raiding and you can't even look at chat to even interact with it at all. And I don't know. Like, Destiny is a very, very difficult game in my opinion to stream compared to other games, like, at least for me in my channel. Like, even in Warzone, like, I don't know, everyone's getting their loadout and you have like a couple extra seconds while someone, I don't know, there just seems to be a lot less free time to kind of interact with chat and stuff like that.
Oh, especially when you're raiding, right?
Right. And so, I really thought about this is quick. I really thought about when we did that raid. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stream that raid. It's gonna be a great group of people. It's gonna be the perfect time to stream Destiny. But then I was like, but I'm not gonna be able to talk with chat at all. It'll be the first time anybody has seen Destiny on my stream in months, probably. I was like, nah, I definitely don't want someone to come in. I can't talk to them, or I don't notice their message for 10 minutes because we're in the middle of, running the baseball diamond. And I was just like, nah, you know what? Nah, I won't. I'm not gonna stream it. So.
Well, and that's really interesting because Destiny is very much a game about hanging out. And so you can hang out with your friends. Like, well, I was in on Thursday. We hung out with our friends. We goofed off in a raid. We told stories. We had fun. Or you can hang out with your community. And you can hang out with your community. I'm in the sandbox. I see a lot of streamers right now forming groups in their community. If they want to run Scourge like 7 times in a row, the boss phase 7 times in a row to get them Anarchy. I know several streamers who are like, okay, sign up in the Discord, put your name on the list. We'll make this work. And they just get 4 or 5 other people, and they just start running people through until they get Anarchy, and then you just keep doing it, and you just kind of right. And I'm going to do the same thing too. So you just decide, what are you doing? Who were you hanging out with today? And both pieces have both pieces have an upside and a downside. I mean, I know a lot of Destiny 2 streamers stream their trials Trials carries. They make it sort of a contest in their community, which is extremely fun to watch. You know, watching Lucky and one of his friends and some random third, and they get in the stream and they go flawless. They're like, Lucky, thank you. I've been trying to do this. You're the greatest streamer. I've been in your community for like 6 months, and you're great. You know, that's for him. That's a monstrous thing. He's helping his community, and then you have all these other people like you Merc, and me soon too. We're going to be running people through their first raids and trying to work with them on these mechanics, and try and get them to understand, because sometimes it'll be great, sometimes it'll suck, sometimes you'll get into an argument, and sometimes you will laugh for hours and not know what to do with yourself. And that's the great thing about this game, is you can hang out with just about anybody,
But that's another thing about streaming Destiny, is that most of the people, I would say a lot of the people that watch, are also fellow Destiny players.
Yeah.
When there's other games, they can be entertaining and people not necessarily have played them. Destiny, like someone that's never played Destiny comes in and is like, what's going on?
What the heck is happening right now?
Is this game hard? Yeah. Yes.
So I have friends who are hardcore Warzone and Call of Duty players. I have a friend. He actually has a competitive team that he plays on for a Warzone. And he tried Destiny for a couple weeks. He goes, man, I got to tell you, man, that I love the PvP. I'm like, well, of course you love the PvP because you play COD. He goes, but some of this space wizard magical crap, I don't even know what the hell's going on. What are these 9 million different weapons that you can get? I mean, some of them I don't even know how to use. I'm like, that's part of the game. It's like, who's this guy? What the hell is he doing? Why is he blue?
Vuvuzuela.
Yeah.
One of my mods calls it the Space Ranger game.
It's like, why is he blue? And then why is there some female in the tower who floats everywhere? What is, and what's the, I think what's worse for some people is that when you go from hunter to warlock to titan, they're like, they all jump different. Why do I die all the time? Like, well, you got to understand the difference between a burst jump and a triple jump, and like, this sucks. I'm gonna go back to playing COD where I just point and click. Like, have fun with that.
Yeah.
You're saying that, and you're literally describing. I don't know if y'all saw this, but if y'all know Crafty's been around forever.
Yeah.
He streamed and did a trials run with Dr. Disrespect.
That's right.
Oh my god!
I don't know if y'all saw this. I was laughing so hard. This was I got it. Had to have been April or May. I mean, trials was out. It was the beginning, and Doc. Oh my god, it was so funny because Doc. So obviously somebody gave Doc their account. Like he was like, hey, here, just borrow. Here's my login. Borrow their account.
Right. Right.
Made his name Dr. Disrespect. He played Trials with Crafty. It probably the first time he's ever played Destiny, ever in his life. Played Trials with Crafty, and I forget who the third was. This is another guy Crafty plays with a lot. But it was so funny because, I mean, you could tell. I mean, Doc's pretty good at games, and he's pretty good at shooting. But like silly, simple mechanics of the game, he was like, what the hell is this? Like, he got stuck in smoke once. He's like, I can't move. Like, he's like, that's hunter smoke, dude. Like, so you explaining
uninstall.
Yeah, you explaining your frig going through that like that was the funny. Yeah, go back and watch that. It's definitely,
that sounds great.
It is definitely worth definitely worth a watch. Very funny.
Well, all right. So I want to get to our next question here. Where do you think you'll be focusing most of your time for the remainder of the season? Do you think you'll be raiding, earning triumphs, running PvP? And you can also kind of have that in a streaming perspective. So do you want to spend most of your stream doing raids or working on the stuff that's going to be leaving in the planets, trying to clean those up and stuff?
So I got the sleeper catalyst from doing some stuff, and so I finished the first step. Here's the thing, I finished the first step before all the new versions of the Akilos weapons came out. So I used the old Aikilos submachine gun that I pulled from collections, the old Aikilos shotty, and the old Aikilos sniper, and I finished all those kills. And so I'm going to be doing that. Raids in Prophecy. I think that I honestly think the Prophecy dungeon is the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen in this game. It is just so well drawn, and it's like the very first time that I was on the ribbons, I got freaking vertigo, and I'm like, oh my god, who drew this? Oh, I want to love you and I want to love you and punch you at the same time. Holy crap, this hurts my head. But it's just one of the most well-designed things I've ever seen, and it's just got so many little pieces to it. The urns, all in the urns, all the extra lore in it. I mean, if you go in the wasteland to those 4 spots and you listen to what's being said, there's just so much lore and story there. It's just freaking amazing to me. So I'm going to be doing some raids, definitely. I can get those triumphs. I'm sure that there are people that I hang around with who have friends that want to go through it. But funny thing, I did all the raids and I got all the exotics and I had everything done before this season started. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of went in this season knowing, okay, I got everything I need, could probably move forward. And then I started getting all this stuff that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I didn't have that. Oh, I didn't even know I didn't have that. Holy crap. So going to Titan, by the way, I love Sloan, just saying. And going to Titan and Mercury. I'm glad that Mercury is being blown up because I can't stand Brother Vance. Brother Vance can just have a pyramid ship land on his head. I'm done with him. So
I don't blame you.
Well, I can say I'm really behind on a lot of things, a lot of weapon quests. Like, to give you a little inkling of how far behind I am, I just got Whisper. Yeah, so I'm pretty far behind on things. The only raids I've done Leviathan several times, and I've done Scourge once now. Thanks to last night. So, and those are the only 2 I've done. So I am very, very far behind. I got a lot of catching up to do. I've been planning on doing a raid each week at least. And I'm going to be slowly working on the weapons quest. Like Izanagi is going to be happening this week. Like we were talking about earlier, I need to get the Prestige Leviathan for the Atreus, whatever, however you say it.
Atreyu.
Yeah, I'm pretty far behind, so I've got a lot of catching up to do, and so I'm going to be working on pretty much all of that.
Wednesday, Journey was texting me, and he's like, okay, so what should I bring to the garden? He's like, well, you should probably bring this gun with this thing on it. And I was like, I don't even have that gun. Oh, okay. Well then you can bring a sniper with this. I don't have any snipers that have that. Okay, do you have a Whisper? Yeah, I do. Do you have the Catalyst? No. I don't. Okay.
It sounds like you and I need to play together. That's what it sounds like.
It does sound like that, yeah.
And what it sounds like to me is that we need to have a community night, and we'll start doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's another reason why I'm getting so back into it is because I have like several friends that are around like the same kind of progress on where I'm at. So that's another huge reason why I'm back in, is because I have these like group of friends I can play with, and I'm meeting more and more people each and every day. Like last night, thanks to John, it's been really, really cool the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I pretty much, because the last raid I ran was Scourge, that I completed was Scourge, and that was literally almost a year ago to the day. A year ago to the day. So for the past year, all the guns that I've been collecting, I look at them, I'm like, oh, is that a good PvP roll? Nope, delete. Oh, is that a good one? Maybe, save it. Is that a good PvP roll? Nope. No, any PvE roll that I see, I just instantly, I'm like, nah, I don't need that, delete it. Because I know I'm not gonna do anything PvE. You know, I'm not gonna do any PvE. How many dungeons have I ran? 1.
So
2.
you're all about PvP, Wicked.
You know, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'd say most of my time, even in D1, most of my time is spent in the Crucible. I say that with a grain of salt because I would say that my time in Destiny 2 has overall been I have not enjoyed my time in the Crucible, which for whatever reason, for year 1 it was gun mechanics, stuff like that, you know, whatever. 4v4, God, that was. Y'all remember that? Did y'all block out that dark time in your life? Like, I thought about that.
You mean like the constant team shooting and stuff?
Everything used to be 4v4. This is anyway, but
I honestly don't remember much about that.
Yeah, just bringing everything back in focus. I really am hoping and looking forward to doing more PvP now that skill-based matchmaking is gone. And I'm hoping that I can get into PvP and enjoy myself a little more, because that's I think it's been one of the bigger problems is I go into PvP and I feel like I'm working hard and I'm not enjoying myself. I'm hoping that moving forward, you know, that's one thing I can go in, because I can go into PvP games and read chat pretty regularly, you know, and keep up with it while streaming. It strikes, you know, if they're regular strikes, yeah, I can do that too. But like nightfalls, things like any of the hard, you know, 3-man, 6-man activities, like I really struggle like looking up, you know, and seeing what's going on. So as far as playing, yes, I'm gonna be playing it. Streaming it, I'll probably just continue to stick to PvP primarily for streaming, and you know, the 1-off 2-off things, you know, oh, this little quest line, you know, something I could do by myself. But yeah, but the problem is I want to do more big man activities. I'm telling you, and I kind of messaged John about this. I was like, I mean, I had a ton of fun on Thursday. I had a ton of fun running raids, and John was even like, "Man, you did really good for your first time ever in the garden. That was your first time ever." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I used to Sherpa people in D1, so I know how to raid. I just don't raid often, you know, now." So
how well did I do last night, John?
Great, man. You were fantastic. Never messed up once.
No, we wiped like 2 or 3 times. It was because I was looking at chat, just like Wicked said. Like I was looking at chat and I got distracted. I went to the wrong place and we wiped. It was like twice.
That's what happens when you're streaming and raiding at the same time, man. I think one of the things that's helped me a lot that I started doing recently was I have a toggle to deafen right now in Discord. So whenever I'm talking to chat, I'm only talking to chat and I don't hear like the people talking in my head. And then once I go back to like going to coordinate and stuff, I'll just turn the chat, the Discord back on and I can hear everybody again. Right. So it's helped to kind of shift your focus between the two.
Yeah. I always do push to talk in any game I play. I do push to talk. So right now I have active mic, but normally if we were doing, it doesn't matter the activity. If we were playing PvP, if we were playing a raid, even when we were in the raid the other day, I had push to talk on. I've just gotten I've trained myself. I've gotten so used to it, you know, so that way I just take and my push to talk is right here. It's on my thumb. So like literally it's easy. I can continue to do this. And my melee is here. This one is something different.
I can't see what I mean.
Yeah.
I have like 5 mouse buttons. So I was like, oh, that's easy. And I've been doing that for, you know, a year now. So it's really, geez, yeah. That's basically it.
All right, man.
So it makes it easy to talk to chat when you can easily go in and out of who you're talking to, who you're not talking to. Right. But raids, I don't know, man. I don't think I'll ever stream a raid. I did whenever I ran Crown of Sorrows. That was week 1 because I got the jacket. That was the only time I've ran it. I did stream those raids, and it was tough. It was especially because none of us knew what we were doing.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference once you're like in there and you know the mechanics, so you're not like, trying to listen to people to tell you what you need to be doing and stuff.
Oh yeah, like when VOG comes back around, I'm streaming VOG all day long. I'm streaming that. I can do that with my eyes closed,
Yeah.
Well,
you think they'll keep it the exact same?
I don't.
They're gonna have like champions and stuff, man. It's gonna be way different.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be totally different.
I hope that they keep the bare bones at least of the raid the same. I don't know. I as a Destiny player and longtime player and fan, if they just said, "Hey, here's a exact carbon copy of Vault of Glass," I'd be like, yeah, like that's awesome. And I think in fact, I think more people, if they change it too drastically, more people would be upset that it's like this isn't Vaulted Glass. You said you're giving us Vaulted Glass. This isn't it. People would be more upset about that than just keeping it carbon copy.
No, I agree.
So I just say I'm really excited for Vaulted Glass because I never played D1. Never played D1.
Wow.
Yeah, I never played D1. I came in just before Forsaken came out. I got the Red War when it was free because my son's like, "Dad, you should check out this game." I'm like, "Okay, how much does it cost?" Because it's free. I'm like, "Well, heck, if it's free, then I'll play with you." And so we played, and then we got Forsaken, and then all the DLC from there. And to hear a lot of the old school D1 players like Vaulted Glass, oh man, Vaulted Glass. I'm like, all right, well, when it comes out, y'all get to carry me through it. They're like, yes, you carry us through this stuff. We get to carry you through Vaulted Glass. I'm like, all right, fair trade for you, brother. I'm with you.
As far behind as I am in D2, like D1, except everything except the very last DLC, I was on D1 hardcore for a while. D2, I just fell off the first several years and I never caught up.
See, it's funny because I did the exact opposite. I played D1 pretty heavily at the beginning, and then I jumped back in for King's Fall for probably about a year, and then I didn't come back into D1 until like a couple months before D2 came out, and I've been playing D2 like almost consistently since release. So now the only thing I'm missing that I have to catch up on is I need to get the Sleeper Simulant Catalyst from the Prestige version of Spire Stars, and I got everything else from those raids. So what I'm going to be doing before Beyond Light comes out, I know, I'm really proud over here. But so the things I need to do before Beyond Light comes out is I just need to like go around the different like destinations and grab all the chests, and like different like hidden stuff that I needed to get for like triumphs and stuff. And then like I have just like some random adventures or something on my Titan or Warlock because I don't main them, so I'm just gonna go in and finish those out before those locations go away. So, but what's something that you all are looking forward to do? Looking forward to with Beyond Light. We'll just have one thing for each person. Who wants to go first?
So I'm interested to see the. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm interested to see how the story's about to play out. Like that's the biggest thing for me. I'm curious about the light and dark aspect of every, like, I don't want to say too much, obviously, because it's going on right now, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a big plot and story person, so I'm very curious to see. In Destiny, you have to dig for it a bit, but it's got an amazing lore and story behind it, and I'm very curious to see how it plays out. That's my one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see how this fourth subclass is going to to play out. I want to see how that's going to affect the gameplay, especially in the older content. I mean, I'm sure they've already worked out how it's going to fit into the current story and the end game content. But with the stuff that's staying, Tangled Shore, EDZ, Dreaming City, Moon, things like that. How does the new fourth subclass fit in? And then it's always fascinating to me to watch the community take what they have and find these amazing builds, and how even though Bungie actively tries to keep people from stacking things that shouldn't stack, for whatever reason the community finds things to stack that shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they find these insane builds like a Liar's Handshake. When that first came out, I used it, and I literally melted a strike boss in 2 seconds. I'm like, holy crap. And then as soon as I figured that out, I'm like, oh, there's this whole community of people. That's all they do. They find builds. I'm like, so it's just amazing to watch, I think. And it shows to me how creative the community is. So
for sure.
I'm going to change one word from what I'm most looking forward to what I'm most hopeful for.
Okay.
I'm most hopeful for more in depth with characters. I think the Drifter is one of the best characters in all of Destiny, but for sure in Destiny 2. I think the Drifter is one of the most interesting characters in Destiny, like new characters in Destiny 2. Like obviously Zavala, Eris, like those are all old characters. I think he's one of the most interesting characters in Destiny 2, and where Season of the Drifter was kind of a bust for Destiny in general. And a lot of people say that, that was one of their least favorites. There was at least a little bit, I wouldn't say a lot, a little bit of backstory. They tried to give him a backstory a bit about his kind of path to that dark side, that darker side that he has. They tried to tell the story. I don't think they did it in the best way. They did try and do it, I think, in an interesting way and a new way.
They talked about like Dredgen and Shin Malfour and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
it was pretty
cool.
Yeah.
A lot and tons of. I felt like that was the first season where Destiny was like, hey, you know what? We have all this lore. Let's like actually kind of put it front page. Like that was the first time they actually were like, hey, we have all this really cool lore that, most of the player base doesn't read, or see. Mm-hmm. And let's try and start, kind of giving some of that forward. So I'd really like to see characters like him get utilized, and whether that's in a cut scene, give them some more backstory, give them, how exactly did he get to where he is, I think that would be cool. The Stranger, is that what
mm-hmm.
what she's called? Yeah, Stranger. Just make sure you give her purpose. Where did she come? Because we don't even know about that from D1. She's probably the most mysterious character in Destiny ever. Maybe other than Ephrodite is the only other one maybe who we've seen that we know nothing about. We
think we know some things, but
we can come to some conclusions. Conclusions. But give them a backstory. I want to know more about the characters. Yes. I'm interested in the story that Beyond Light will offer, but I want to know about the people around me. I want to know about the people that I've been interacting with for 7 years, going on 7 years now. Tell their story.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it. Just tell their story and give me something more to latch onto other than, hey, Beyond Light, you fight these bad guys, you beat bad guys,
They need to do that too. Like and I think they realize that, with Cade and, everything, like it's just, people will tell you all the time that one of their favorite parts in the game was Cade's moment. You know what I mean? Like that was such a big, impactful moment in the game. And people still talk about it. Like, I miss Cade, like all of those things. Like you hear it all the time. And it's because they gave him such flair and people just, you know what I mean? And there's so few characters in that, but we need more of it. You know what I mean? We need more of that strong interaction with these big characters in the game. I absolutely agree with you, Wick. And that was another part of like what I was looking forward to and beyond, like plot wise. Like hopefully I want more info. I've always wanted more info out of Destiny. Their lore is just so good. The story, all of them, it's just so good. We just need more of it. We need more meat on the bone, Hopefully they focus more on that.
Hopefully. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to or interested in is what's going to happen with the Cosmodrome and Vault of Glass. What kind of state they're going to bring that back in? Is there going to be Siva everywhere? What is the darkness or the pyramids going to be doing something there?
I think
what Venus though.
Right. And so I think that I think what happened at the end of last season with Rasputin and Fellwinter, it largely went unanswered. And the fact that Rasputin was the angry father and killed Fellwinter, and I was seriously waiting for Zavala to go like, "Screw you, Rasputin," but never happened. And it's just kind of that small piece of story just kind of faded away. You know what I mean? So,
but yeah, no. So I think isn't Vault of Glass in the Black Garden?
I don't know.
Well, whenever you enter the Vault of Glass,
it's like, through Venus.
Yeah.
But like, so the reason I'm asking that is because you can enter the Black Garden from different planets.
Different time, really. But that's the thing. Yeah. Like it's all timey-wimey.
Yeah.
So it really isn't in its space of its own. Like we can go into there through some kind of Vex network if possible. Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm just throwing ideas out there, but
I mean it's just what's going to be the state of the Cosmodrome? How are we going to get to the Vault of Glass? What's going to be happening with all that stuff? So it's very, very interesting stuff. All right, well that's enough talking about Destiny 2 for today, I think.
No, I'm just kidding.
Thank God.
I know, man.
Screw that game.
All right, we're moving on to our second main topic for the podcast. And we're going to be talking about what are our goals with your stream content and your community. We do have a lot of great streamers here today with us. And I think we all have a lot of potential for growth. So what is something, let's see. What's your all's background in streaming so far, and what motivated you to start? Whoever wants to go, you want to go first, Bill?
Sure. I started January 1st of this year, so I've been going a little over 6 months. I got into it because I realized how important streaming is for your overall growth online, the way it's going. It doesn't really matter so much the platform you're on. I mean, you could be Mixer, of course Mixer's dead, but I mean there's Trovo, Facebook Gaming, there's a platform called D Live, there's Twitch. Streaming is as important as ever, especially with all of us basically locked in our houses. So as far as growth and opportunity, I did an interview I think a month ago live on my stream, and one of the pieces of content that I'm known for online is doing these interviews. I interview people from all over the world. I have friends in Zambia and China, Australia, the UK, and I talk to various there's some industry people about, the gaming world, the esports world. And so I decided that I was going to do this interview live in real time. And so we did it on a Friday. I pretty much told my chat, I'm like, look, this is modded. Nobody be a jerk, because there's this site out there called epal.gg. You can basically hire somebody to play games with you. And so obviously you can hire girls to play with you, and they're sometimes e-girls. And so this person that I got on, we talked about what that was like for her. As far as the places for growth, I mean, I need to get more viewers involved. I only have like 230 something followers at this point, so I can definitely invite more people into my teams and do more stuff with the community. I like the stories that people tell, especially in the gaming world. So for me, that's my strength, is talking to people about what they do, why they do it, sort of a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I got into streaming 2.5 years ago, beginning of 2018, I think. And I got into it because I was over hanging out at my buddy's house, and we were watching a couple Twitch channels, and he was like, "Hey, we play video games. We should do this." And so
Drinking was involved, I'm sure.
My first kid was just born. And I was thinking, I'm like, what's a way I can still play video games and have a kid around? I was like, well, if I'm able to pay a bill or two out of it. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, then the wife will let me. But no, my first stream was a Warframe stream, and it was through the PlayStation 4 app. And the very first stream I did, Warframe, I basically I was like, hey, playing Warframe for the first time ever. I knew nothing about Twitch, and all of a sudden I had 16 people in my channel, which, is mind-blowing when you're first starting. And I fell in love with it like right away, just the camaraderie and the making of the friends and the chit chat and the helpfulness. Like, tons of people were in there just trying to help someone out. And I don't know if any of you played Warframe, but it is by God the most deepest learning curve of a game ever. There's just so much to it. And after that, yeah, I just kind of took off. I got a capture card shortly after that, and just kind of went on from there. I don't know. 2.5 years later, I've got half a room set up, and God knows how much time and money been poured into it, but it's a really fun hobby. Like, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't be doing it for 2.5 years now if I didn't enjoy it. So I'm having a great time with it. And a point Funny Man brought up was that it's extremely important right now, with everything going on, keep everyone in some sort of sanity, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's how I got into it, basically.
I'll start off with this. This is probably, probably like 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, oh, there's a way, I could buy a PlayStation camera. I was like, you know what? Let me just see. I'm gonna put it on my Christmas list. And someone bought it for me, and I brought it home. And I was talking to my buddies about it. I was like, man, I got this camera, man. I was like, they're like, what can you do with it? I was like, well, you turn it on, and people can watch you play video games. I was like, would you guys come to that? And they're like, nah, I wouldn't come to that, man. I'm not gonna come watch you. Like, I was like, all right. So, long story short, I would have gotten started 5 or 6 years ago, but I talked myself out of it and ended up selling that thing back. And I actually started about 2 years ago to almost the day. It was the summer 2 years ago, and I kicked off on my PlayStation. I was using the PlayStation app for a very short time. I would say a couple weeks. And then is it Amazon Prime Day? Does that happen over the summer?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
There's some kind of big sale, I feel like, because I felt like over the summer there was a big sale of some sort, and I remember picking up a HD 60 for like $100. They're normally 150, or they were at the time. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty good deal. I was like, yeah, let me pick this up. And I started streaming through a laptop that I had. So, I was streaming like I think I started at 720 30 FPS, and I started streaming. I think I started with Destiny. I was in a weird place because at the time of Destiny, when I got into streaming, Destiny was not in the best of places. I was not part of any crew community, which currently Bill and I are part of the same Destiny community now. And the person who's the founder of our group, I was in her group in Destiny 1. So when we went to Destiny 2, that all kind of died out because of the unsuccessfulness of Destiny 2. So that group died out, and I found myself in a weird place, and I actually would say I was a Fortnite streamer for quite some time. I was a Fortnite streamer.
It was Warframe and Fortnite. That's
I was a Fortnite streamer. I would call myself in the beginnings a Fortnite streamer for about a year. In the very first year of Fortnite, and I enjoyed it a ton. And then going forward, I had a weird ride because coming up on my 1-year anniversary of hitting affiliate, the day August 17th was the day that I was going to do my 1-year anniversary stream. I think technically the 16th was when I hit affiliate, but I was going to stream it on the 17th just because I had more free time that day. Baby Cricket was born on that day.
Man.
Yeah. So my daughter was born, and I just last week I went back. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I went back and I looked from when she was born in August to January of 2020. I streamed 11 times. I streamed 11 times from August to January.
Oh, man.
And so you want to talk about a channel killer? Like I didn't stream at all. And I kind of knew that was going to happen that way. So where I obviously wasn't streaming a lot, I was just trying to just sit in people's chats, lurking, chatting as much as I could, just hitting up as many people. It's been 30 minutes here, it's been 30 minutes here, it's been an hour here.
That can be one of the best ways to grow your channel, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. And so anyway, I kind of just I picked it back up. I'd say in February I started picking streaming back up, where I was doing it on a somewhat regular basis. And then as far as my streaming schedule goes, COVID was the best thing that happened to my streaming schedule, because I was like, oh, I can stream a lot right now. Cool. This is going to help my channel a ton.
That's how I got to know JourneyJohn. I just started hanging out in JourneyJohn's stream, and then because I actually met JourneyJohn through Clintus. And then Clintus says, hey, JourneyJohn streams. Also, I checked out JourneyJohn's stream. I've made so many friends just from hanging out in streams and laughing and sharing memes and talking about stuff and, joking about various things that they do, and they're like, "Hey, you should, hey, Bill, do you stream?" Yeah, I do this, and I try not to bring it up unless the person asks, because that's not cool. You don't just walk into a person's stream and tell them, "Oh, I stream too." No, you need to get to know them a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean, I've made a bunch of friends overseas just from hanging out in streams and laughing at things that they do. So yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my background is I started out on this is a blogging site for it's called My IGN, which is it's a blogging site that IGN started, and I had some friends through there that they started doing YouTube videos, just doing like Let's Plays and stuff. And so because they were doing it, I started getting interested in it. And then probably one of the first live streams I started watching would be King Ithalian and Broman, and I watched them do their world's first King's Fall raid, and I was like, this is really cool. And so I didn't start streaming probably for maybe a I don't know, half a year after that maybe, and I started out on YouTube, and I was playing a lot of Fallout and Skyrim and stuff. I didn't really get started in Destiny. I don't know. I streamed a little bit of Destiny because I had to re-get like a PS4 and stuff. And then I started streaming a lot of Destiny too. But I like probably most of us, I'm also a variety streamer. So I play new releases, pretty much anything that comes out, I'm going to stream it. But I swap between YouTube to Twitch after I think Clintus moved to Twitch, Tex moved to Twitch, Dally or Three Dads Gaming, Dadly Gaming, they moved to Twitch, and then I moved to Twitch. And then I had a hard time like finding traction on Twitch, so I went back to YouTube. And then there's all these technical issues on YouTube, and so I went back to Twitch again. And then I'm like, I felt like I had enough people that I knew that I was like, all right, I just want to settle here on Twitch and grind things out and try to work on like just meeting people and networking and stuff. So that's kind of my background of streaming. And yeah, I guess that was my motivation for starting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, real quick segue, because you brought up Clintus and YouTube and stuff like that. Probably the first stream, it probably was the first stream I ever watched. I was at work, and it was the day that Wrath of the Machine came out, or whatever that DLC was, Rise of Iron. Is the day Rise of Iron dropped, and I went on YouTube in the middle of the day because I was like, oh, it's all right, it's new, it's 12 o'clock, it's live. So it was my lunch break, and I went on YouTube and I was looking around, and I was like, all right, people are streaming this, right? And one of the first people that popped up for me was Clintus, and he's even said, I think to this day, that just happened to be one of the biggest organic stream that he had ever done. There were 500-600 people in there without a raid or anything like that. And I just randomly found I'd never seen him or heard of him before, clicked on his channel, watched some of the Rise of Iron stuff going on. And I ended up finding him again on Twitch. Luckily, found him again back on Twitch years later, because I wasn't into watching streams or anything like that. But once I got into Twitch, I'd say probably about 3 years ago, I got into Twitch. I luckily found him again. So
yeah, I YouTube is probably the most success I've seen as far as streaming goes. When I was streaming Fallout 4, I would hit up to 30 to 40 to 50 viewers and get over thousands of views on videos and stuff. But that was right before the adpocalypse happened. So after that, like, Fallout 4 was getting flagged for like mature content and stuff, so it was no longer seen as advertiser friendly, which I think they've gotten better about at this point. But there's just been so many, like, YouTube is just always on like a roller coaster, so it's just, I don't feel like it's a very reliable like streaming service. to be on, but it's also extremely hard to grow on Twitch. So
it's very saturated.
Yeah, it's very saturated, and there's not like YouTube's really good about like doing recommended videos and stuff. So there's not like a lot of discoverability on Twitch. It's more about who you're networking with, I would say. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep, I agree.
So, what are some things that you say that you currently struggle with, and what are ways you think you would like to improve it? Whoever wants to go first.
I think just throwing it out there. I think I struggle with more or less coming up with a schedule. You know, a lot of times, and especially in the past, I'd say recently I've tried to kind of change my mindset on it, but you know, usually the game I'm playing is whatever the flavor of the month is. You know, I say I'm a variety streamer, but I play one thing, you know, at a time, basically. I rarely in a week will I say I'm gonna stream this 3 times and stream this 2 times.
It's like all I do.
Yeah. I know. I mean, like every time I see you on, I'm like, oh, that's a different game. He was playing something else yesterday. It's like I've never even heard of this game. Like, cool. Me, it's like I'm a variety, but I'm not a variety. Like, it's like it's got to be a shooter, you know, and it's got to be something that's you know a lot of people are playing because I like to play with people. I like to get on a PvP game and run a 4 or 5 stack, 6 stack, whatever, you know. I struggle with turning one game off and streaming another game, you know, and feeling comfortable with doing that. That it's a comfort zone thing, you know. I'm in a comfort zone right now of getting on Warzone, running trios and quads, and you know, doing my thing, and you know, winning some games and getting some kills. And I said it earlier. I'm on the fence of like what's the next thing I stream with Destiny? If I stream Destiny, what do I stream? You know, I don't know. So it's a comfort zone thing with that, and then it's, you know, I think I just need to, back to what I was saying with the schedule, like I need to just start saying, okay, Tuesday night I'm going to be streaming. I'm just going to I'm going to make a post on Twitter, and I'm going to say, here's my schedule for the week. I'm streaming Destiny Tuesday night. I'm streaming COD Wednesday and Thursday. I'm gonna do trials on Friday, which I haven't ran trials in so long. You know, but you know, for example, you know, that's kind of how I feel like I want to map things out, and I feel like it'll help get a sense of normalcy with some of my followers and some of my community, and I think that's something I really kind of struggle with is just getting a rhythm going behind what I'm doing, instead of, hey, I'm live and you know what, I'm playing this, and I decided I was playing this 10 minutes before I got on, you know.
It's hard. Game choice, especially with variety streamers, it can be hard, and it can be full of anxiety as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, like, and just real quick to add on to it, like I streamed, like when the day Valorant came out, I got the beta the second day it was out, and then I started streaming it exclusively. That's the only thing I played for about 3 weeks. I was playing Valorant, and that game is so hard to stream and play because it takes your, like, you know, it's a 3-minute round, 4-minute round. That's 3 minutes. I'm probably not looking at chat. I'm not, and honestly, it's a game I know I don't enjoy watching. I'd go watch some of the super good, super big, successful streamers. I'd watch them play, and I'm like, man, this game's boring, man. Like it's hard to watch, you know, like even if it's like a stacked team of 5 versus another stacked team of 5, I'm like, this is not the most interesting game to watch. And so that was something hard, you know. There's like, what's keeping me entertained and me continuously engaging with chat. That's another thing too, man. I really like that game, and I still really like playing that game, but I just had to, for multiple reasons, not just the interacting with chat, but I had to give that game up. The skill gap just got way too. I mean, people are putting in 20 plus hours, 30 plus hours in a week, and I'm like, oh, I hit 9 hours on the game this week. Like I feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep up with people like that in a competitive game.
Oh,
anyway,
it's funny that you say that, because, well, I'd say probably one of the things I struggle with is consistency. Like making sure that I'm starting my stream on time, that I have regular hours, and that I'm playing at least the same game regularly, and not like just starting Morrowind today because F it, who cares?
One of the things. Oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I'm go ahead.
If you want to keep going, go ahead.
I'm good, man.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say one of probably the biggest thing I struggle with personally is time. I don't know what your guys' situations are, but I work like 45 to 55 hours a week. Got a wife, two daughters, and then I try to stream 4 times, possibly 5 times a week if I can. So, and then like I have all these ideas of things I want to do off stream, which, like, I'm sure you guys know, like off stream stuff can be just as important as on stream stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got all these ideas for stream, but I have no time to implement or work on any of them, like channel redemptions or maybe YouTube videos or just socializing on social media. Is like, what's that? Virtual cam.
Didn't mean to distract you there. Sorry. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Well, hey, so I say, Merc. I mean, if you have an OnlyFans account, put it in chat.
That is one thing I'm behind on timeline. That's on my list of things to do. It's out to like 4. It's right up there. So
just saying. I mean, if you have OnlyFans, put it in the chat. You'll get people sign up. They work.
But yeah, that I always say, I'm like, time is my biggest enemy. Because like another thing to balance is like, obviously, most of the time when I stream is at the times when my kids are asleep. You know what I mean? Because the one thing I don't want to do is to take away time from them to stream. You know what I mean? Like, time with them is number one, always will be, always has been, all that. And it's hard to find that balance. And, when you're trying to gain traction on Twitch and you're trying to grow, it can be, it's tough. It really is, to find that time. And because you have to put the time in, like it is a job. You have to put those hours in to be able to gain that traction, to be able to grow. And it's just, I always think, I'm like, if I just had this amount of time, I'd be able to do this or that. Time, definitely time is my biggest enemy right now.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that I'm not very good at is just expressing like my thoughts and ideas and elaborating on stuff. I feel like I'm much better at asking questions than actually answering questions. And so like the podcast is one of the ways that I'm trying to force myself to improve in that area. So
yeah, so for me, it's really about endurance. I can go 3 hours, no problem, but about 3.5 hours, my energy starts to really dip out, and so I mean, I've done 5-hour streams, 6-hour streams. Very early on, I did a couple of charity streams where I went like 12 hours, and those just kicked my butt. So for me, it's sort of like endurance. I mean, I sit down on Sundays. I take about an hour on Sundays, and I get everything mapped out for the week. I'll send messages like you, JourneyJohn. Hey, on Tuesday I'm doing this. You want to be in? I'm doing this on Thursday. Or doing your raid thing on Thursday. Let's do that. And I try to get that mapped out. But for me, I know that the longer you stream in a given day, the more likely the people will find you. So I need to work on doing my streams a little bit longer, because there have been times I've like I'll be just playing and having a great time, and I'll look up like, holy crap, I've been doing this for 4 hours, and then right about just at the end of the 4 hour mark, chat just pops. And I got like 9 people. I get like 9 people out of nowhere. I'm like, I can't quit now. I got 9 people in my chat. What the hell? I can't quit. So, I go for another hour, maybe hour and a half.
Or you get a raid right before you're gonna end.
I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna wind down, and all of a sudden, raid of like 20. I'm like, holy crap! You're raiding me,
You're like, hell yeah, and also like, damn it, I want to get off.
I just had my best PvP match in a week, and now I'm ready to stop. Oh, now you want more entertainment? Fine, dance, monkey dance, sort of thing. So
one thing I will say about the duration, because I struggle with that as well. Funny man, because like I said, I'm late at night, so I can only go so often before I just start dying down. Right. One thing I find is that, if you're not able to stream 5 or 6 hours, what I feel like, if you have to do shorter streams, because my streams are usually 3-4 hours. That's like usually, if you are consistent on your schedule, and what I mean by that is, like, for me, instance, I'll give an example. 9 p.m. You know what I mean? On the dot. On certain days, like I'm not trying to give everyone my schedule or anything, but I'm just saying, like,
Twitch.tv/MercShow.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But what I'm saying is, like, people like, hey, it's 10 o'clock. Hey, this person should be on, because they're on every single time at that time. So I feel like that can very much make up for the lack of duration. You know what I mean? Like, if you have that consistency, people know where you're at the exact time. Like that is a way I found to kind of counteract the duration, because that's one thing I'm like, man, I wish I could go longer. I wish I could go for 6 hours. You know what I mean? Because you are right, funny man. Like, the longer you go, generally the more and more viewers you're able to obtain. Like, so it's definitely it's something hard to balance, for sure.
Yep, I agree.
So on the flip side of that, what's something that you all feel that you excel at, or that you're something that you're good at as far as streaming goes?
I would say
nothing. I am freaking entertaining. I am an entertainment machine for only 3 hours, but I'm an entertainment machine.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
About it. I would say interacting with chat. I would say that's probably my strongest point, is just kind of my interaction with chat, the combos that we have. I don't know. I think I have kind of cool channel redemption points.
I would agree with that after watching a stream for a good amount of time. Yeah.
For me, I have all these sayings. Like I have this one on my shirt. I have this one on my shirt that I say, "Hey, this is why we can't have nice things, is because of you." You talk about or talk about, you darn kids, get off my lawn, sort of a thing. Because I'm 48. I have 4 grown kids and a granddaughter. You just saw her. She's not bossy. She has leadership skills. She's not bossy. She has really, really good leadership skills. Just saying. And so I try to be entertaining for as long as I can, and then I eventually hit that point where, like, okay, I'm out of energy, and it's like I get tired, and then my gameplay starts to suck, and I start getting frustrated at myself, and they're like, "Bill, you okay?" It's like, "No, I'm having a bad day all of a sudden." And okay, I'm fine now. You know, it's just I try to be. I found that memes do really well, and I can be a meme because I am of a certain age, and I know the time before the internet and the time after the internet. You know, like my first experience on the internet was a was AOL dial-up. So you know, that whole noise business. And so I talk about my grandparents rented their landline phone. Just it's kind of process that for a minute. So I like to say funny things and like be an old guy meme. And I go into Highlander's stream and I tell the dad jokes all the time. He's like, and today he's like, Bill, I'm gonna ban you. I was like, why? These are funny. He's like, no. And then he times me out for 60 seconds. I'm like, I got banned! Yeah, got banned!
I don't know if this is something I do well or not, but something I try and do that I feel like watching I don't necessarily watch some of those people a lot, but I feel like there are a lot of people, even big streamers. I feel like every time I go in there, I'm just watching the same stream that I watch. It's the same stream I watched yesterday. You know, they're playing the same game, maybe with the same people, maybe with different people, but you know, it's
saying the same things.
It's a carbon copy of what they did yesterday and the day before that. So one thing I try and do is I try and make even if I'm playing the same game, I want every stream to be organic and different. I can't tell you how many streams in the past month where I've tried to change maybe one thing that I'm doing in stream. Like, so I mean, less than a month ago, I had a green screen behind me, so that was obviously a huge change. And then since I took that green screen down, I mean, like, I've been rearranging my room. I've been changing the lighting. Like, I would say that there were probably 6 streams or 7 streams I did in a row where I mean, the lighting, the camera angle, I mean, there was always something I was doing different, just testing new things, because I feel like I don't ever want to get in a comfort zone with streaming.
That's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get, because I feel like that's, especially with being on the bottom end of Twitch, that's the death of your channel is when you're in the comfort zone of where you're at, what you're doing. So every time I stream, I try and think of like, hey, what's something I can do? Like, and Merc said something about channel points. I feel like my channel points are, unfortunately, most of them are Valorant oriented right now because I was playing a lot of Valorant. So I'll have to go back and get rid of all those because I'm not playing Valorant anymore. But I do try and have an interactive thing, where even if someone comes in and is lurking and not chatting or isn't chatting much, they have enough points that they can be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna click that, hey, oh, hey, you had a AK, oh, drop that, and it's like, oh shit, all right, cool, well, all right, or I had like stupid things like I can only walk, I can't run, in a game, but it's something that I try and hope and think that it creates a new or different experience, from what I did the day before,
Well, you touched on a really good point, is to keep it fresh. You know what I mean? Even the people that are going to come see you, watch you every single night, you know what I mean? You want to change it up for them, you know what I mean? So they're not just seeing the same thing, because it's one thing to get a person to stay and watch one night. It's another thing to get a person to come for a year straight. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. You got to keep something new coming to the channels, something to get excited about, something for them to come back.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I'm, I guess, good at is like kind of coordinating and working with other people and like organizing stuff like this podcast or a raid, finding the right people and like doing the right activity that I feel like we would all be good together doing. I think that's something that I'm good at, and it's something I try to do more of, especially now.
Hey, I thank you 1,000 times.
Yeah, man.
Good job getting the raids together, man. For sure.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I've tried probably 3 different times to get 5 other people to commit to turning on re-downloading Destiny 1 and going through some of those old raids. I've done that probably 3 times in the past 2 years to try and get a group, and like I'll have 3 people that are in, and then I'll have 2 that are like, well, maybe, and then I'll have 1 who are like, well, if you can't find someone, and I'll reach out, and I'm always unsuccessful. So yeah. I mean, you really pulled that together, and you know.
I used to do. I guess last year, because I think you raided with us, because we would do weekly raids every Friday, like Merc wanting to do. So, yeah.
Well, like I was doing it before when I first started playing, and then pretty much like Wicked said, it was just hard to find 5 people to like commit to that day and that time, and you know things happen. Obviously, it happens to everybody. Things come up.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I wasn't able to make it last night, even though I wanted to.
Like that's the thing. It's hard. It's hard to get a group together like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for people that are doing a raid for the first time. A big group of people.
Yeah,
it is. It can be frustrating to get first timers through a raid. As a new timer, I know it can be frustrating.
Yeah. So what are some short and long-term goals you have with your stream and your community?
Long-term partner.
Heck yeah, man.
I know it sounds like a big aspiration, but I honestly, long-term goal, I would like to make partner. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Short-term goal, I'm working on t-shirts. So, so
nice.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to have a t-shirt of like.
You mean like these that I made and sent one to JourneyJohn?
I have one. I wore it on the podcast before too.
I know.
But yeah, those are my short-term and long-term goals right now.
Nice.
Short term, I am now working on hats. So the first round of shirts I pretty much gave away, because I'm like I have a small group of people that have been with me from the start. So I sent them all a shirt. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Appreciate you. Now I'm going to work on hats. Hats are a little more expensive than shirts, and they're harder to make. So that'll take a bit of planning. Long-term goals, I don't seek to be a Twitch partner. And this might sound horrible, but I'm the wrong age, and I think I'm just the wrong age and at the wrong point in my life to be a serious candidate for partner. And it's not because I'm not entertaining. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's that I don't think I personally fit what makes Twitch right now, and that's totally fine. I do this simply because it's fun and I get to hang out with awesome people and to build a community. What I want to do long term is I want to leverage my community in such a way that I can not only provide opportunities for myself, but opportunities for others. I find a lot of joy in having somebody come to me and say, Bill, I need somebody for this. Do you know somebody? I'm like, yeah, I know a guy. I know a girl. They're pretty smart people. Ask this person. And being able to put my name on somebody and have that person be what the other person wants them to be in terms of whether it's a job or a promotional opportunity or a short-term freelance thing. I do seriously get these questions all the time. Bill, do you know this person? Bill, do you know somebody? And that for me a source of great joy. Being able to go, I know somebody that would be really good at that. And so I want to be able to have a large enough community that I can not only leverage stuff for myself, but stuff for other people. Because there are a lot of talented people out there who may not be the best at promoting themselves, or they may feel like they've been, screwed over one time or another. And so I like to point out good things. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of what I was hitting on earlier, my short-term goal with streaming is to not necessarily get more consistent, because I feel like I've had a pretty consistent schedule over the past few months. Here's the problem is, once I start working again, like full time, which I know we're going to get into maybe a little bit of this later, but so I'm a teacher, which you can all imagine what the hell that's going to look like in a month from now, or what it may or may not look like. Believe me, I don't even know what the hell that's going to look like. So when all that gets kicked off,
what grade do you teach?
I teach high school.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Well, my job kind of ties into the second part of my long-term goal, and I'll get into that in a second. So, my short-term goal is going to be trying to keep some consistency in streaming, and making when and what I'm doing a little more public. I think a lot of people now that have been coming to the stream for the past 2 months, they know that I'm pretty much right now. I start streaming at, late at night, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I stream till about, 2 in the morning, whatever. Short streams, nothing crazy, because I got to wake up and take care of the baby. Every now and then I'll get an afternoon stream in during a nap or something like that. But, when actual work, starts back up for me, that my stream's going to change pretty drastically. So short-term goal is to try and figure out a way to make that transition work, and to, hopefully keep some of the people, because, like, for example, I was in Jay Sniperton's stream last night. I think he's someone who's really good at streaming, really, really great character.
He's a really, really cool dude.
I don't watch a stream ever because he streams at 1 in the morning. You know what I mean? I never watch a stream. Never, ever, ever, ever. I tuned in last night for maybe the second time this year to his stream. And I only stuck around for 20 minutes, and I was like, all right, I gotta go to bed. So the people that come to me at midnight, are they gonna, whenever I change times, is that gonna roll over? So anyway, short-term goal is consistency, and how is that gonna? I'm still trying to figure out that short-term goal, but the long-term goal, Merc mentioned hitting partner, which sort of in a way, I don't know if that more or less. I think a lot of people, not saying you think this, Merc, but I think a lot of people think that partner equals full-time content creator, which it definitely is not the case. But I think that some people have that notion that you have to be like that. I know some people who are affiliates right now who are making more off Twitch than some partners are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird dynamic of how that kind of stuff works. My long-term goal, honestly, is to maybe one day make back what I've put into all this, because this is a hobby, because because I, to be completely honest, I don't ever want to take Twitch too seriously. Like, partner, I don't think is ever going to be in my realm of things, because I don't want to take Twitch too seriously, because I took something that I really liked and I really enjoyed and I really loved, and I turned it into my job. And now there are things about my job and things revolving. So I'm a band teacher in Texas.
Oh, okay.
So there are
I'm just so sorry. I was in band in high school, and I'm now even more sorry than I was before. Just saying.
So there are many things about being in a profession that I loved growing up, I loved in college, and I still love this day, but there are a lot of things about it that I don't enjoy anymore. I don't love, like, I've lost that kind of fire for. So I'm afraid that taking Twitch too seriously, trying to make partner, trying to say that I'm going to be a content creator only, like my fear is that I'm going to start to lose, the specialness of getting on and gaming and hanging with people and friends.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that with Destiny itself. It's like, are you playing Destiny just because you enjoyed the game and you're having fun playing it and stuff, or are you doing it because you want to be on that platform for the Destiny like directory and stuff, and you want to be known as a Destiny streamer and that kind of thing?
Wicked definitely touched on some really good points, saying like, the whole something you love turning into a job. It totally makes sense. And there are days where I'm like, no, I really am not feeling stream tonight. I just kind of want to chill out on some games tonight, because there is a difference between playing games on stream and off stream, and yeah, no, it's definitely something for sure.
Yeah. See, I spent 20 years as a fast pitch softball umpire. I mean, I worked Division I games. I worked NCAA postseason softball, and I mean, I've done famous things. I've been involved in very important games. As a basketball referee for 15 years, as a soccer referee for 10, and for the first half of it, it was fun. I enjoyed the learning and the games and the crew. But after a while, when it becomes a source of income, it turns from being something that you enjoy into, oh my gosh, I have to go out there again and get yelled at, and I have to be on my, I have to be on my game. I mean, I've seen what you could possibly call the greatest display of sportsmanship happen. This was back in 2008. Girl hits a home run, misses first base, and she goes back to touch first base, and her knee just like blows out, so she can't finish touching the bases, and the defense carried her around the bases. So if you go on YouTube, you type in CWU softball. One of the videos you'll see is this girl being carried around the bases. The guy in the light blue shirt in the background, that's me. That's me. And so I've done like.
Oh man.
So from that play, there was a question on the NCAA softball test for the next 10 years because of me, and I'm like, I don't, so after a while, you're right, Wicked. It turns from something that you were really passionate about. I mean, I worked my backside off for next to no money. I remember working weekend fast pitch tournament games for $17. I worked a Division II college season making $33 a game, and at the end of my my softball career, I was making going to Division I schools on a weekend and making like between $1,000 to $1,400, and you might think that's great until you realize the amount of pressure that you're under from the time you wake up to the time you wake up. And it's just there is no way to describe it to anybody who hasn't done it before. And so I said it. I really don't think I want to be a partner. I don't think that fits who I am and what I do. So believe me, man, I know exactly what you're saying. So
then you got those people screaming at you about the bad calls you just made.
I always say everybody is correct until they have to be an umpire. And I used to, towards the end of my career, I got some really good comebacks to people. That wasn't a strike. It is now. Why? I called it a strike.
It is now. I like that.
It is now, and people are like, people like, are you sure? No, but I'm closer to the play than you are. So I just at the end, I just it turned into something where I just, I mean, yes, I was very good at what I did, and people wanted me to work their games, but I just got to the point where I'm like, it's like, no, the game should not be about me. The game should be about the game. But people are making these comments, and I'm just done listening to stupid people tell me how to do their job. It's like there's a reason you have one chef, not 6 in the kitchen. You have one chef. The chef makes the decisions. Everybody else, shut the hell up and do your job. So.
Yeah, I think. I guess technically becoming a partner is one of my long-term goals, because at some point I just, it'd be great if at some point this became something that I could make a living wage off of. But at the same time, like, I'm really not interested in like getting into like partnership deals and like having to sign contracts for things and stuff. That's like not something I'm interested in or wanting to do. Like, having a free PC sounds great, but just the work that you have to put into that.
Well, like even Wicked said, like partnership for me, I know for a fact does not mean I will be a full-time streamer.
No, yeah.
Like, looking at the numbers, like, because my wife doesn't work, she stays at home with the girl.
That's why I separate between partnership and making a living wage, because those are two different things.
That's just like the goal, and then to make it a full-time gig, that's a whole nother goal.
Yeah, but I think my bigger long-term goal is kind of what Bill was saying, where I want to have a platform where I can build up other streamers and community members and help them like reach affiliate and stuff, and be a good influence for them as well. So that's probably one of my more focuses for my long-term goals, I guess. And then I would
say keep that as genuine as you can, because that I've seen that go haywire times.
Oh, dude, I know, man. Especially on like YouTube, where you have like entire channels dedicated to like shouting people out just so you can get their follow or subscribe or something. Well, yeah,
like that's all I remember when I first started was like those channels, like follow for follow,
yeah,
like host, raids for raids. Like,
I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But one of my short-term goals would be get to a point where other streamers start coming to me in the way that I'm reaching out to other streamers right now for like working on projects or like co-streams or doing stuff like that. So, because that's a good sign that you're doing stuff well, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then another short-term goal is just to get better, have a more of a focus again on like doing stuff with your community. That's one of the things I need to start working on again, because I'm doing a lot of stuff with streamers right now, but not doing a whole lot with my community. So I need to find a good balance for that.
Balance,
man. It's all about balance. But yeah, anyways, that's it for our main topics. We'll get into the guest interview since we're running over on time right now, and we got pretty much everybody as a guest right now. So we'll just go around that way. So we'll start with Merc, and then Wicked, and then Bill, and we'll just go through these questions. So Merc, who are you and what do you do, man?
I am Merc. When I'm not streaming, I manage a group of websites that actually distribute music videos for DJs to play at clubs and weddings and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a father of 2 girls, husband, I think, of 5 years, going on 6 years? Question mark. I
think. So Merc, just as somebody who's been married for 20 years, there's only one date you ever need to remember, and I think you know what that date is.
The anniversary? The wedding anniversary?
Oh, you please do not ever forget that date. You can forget everything else in your life except that one date.
Oh, I got it. I got it down.
Okay, just make sure. I mean, so
kids' birthdays are a little iffy, but the wedding anniversary I got.
So make sure that you put the reminder in your phone 1 month out, 2 weeks out, and 2 days before. 3 reminders is always good. Trust me on this. 20 years. Yeah.
I lucked out because our anniversary and our kid's birthday is also on the 30th, just of different months.
Nice.
So it makes it easy.
My one kid's right before Halloween, so it's not hard to forget that.
Yeah, that's good. And also, Merc, what's your streaming schedule and what do you do on each day?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I usually start around between 8:30, 9 p.m. Eastern. I go till probably about midnight to 1 a.m. Probably later if it's Friday night and I've had a few. I do a special segment on Sundays called Sunday Morning Classics, where I start way earlier than I do. I start around 9 a.m. Eastern time, and I play classic games from my childhood. Yeah,
I try to make that stream as often as I can.
You know, it's funny because it's my most popular stream, and it's like the one day a week I stream at a completely different time, have a completely different crowd of people, and it's just funny how that works out. And yeah, Sunday Morning Classics has been a really cool thing. But yeah,
so, you've been, was it Chrono? Are you playing the Chrono games?
I've been playing Chrono Cross lately. Every which is an old PlayStation turn-based RPG. I grew up on turn-based RPG, so I'm obsessed with them when it comes to like classic ones. And I kind of throw a platformer in there every Sunday or so, just to kind of like give a break from the turn-based RPG. But we've already beat Legend of Dragoon, Super Mario RPG. We've played multiple Marios. We beat all the Donkey Kongs. Just like classic games I grew up on.
Those are some classics, man.
Yeah, no, and like, at the beginning I let people vote on them, and like I don't say used to because I'm still playing through the games that were being voted on. I'm just playing them in order of how many votes they got. So it's just GoldenEye turning soon. Yeah. But yeah, no, Sundays are a lot of fun. They're a lot. And another thing too, it's actually kind of nice because I have so much more energy on Sundays. Like, throughout the week, I'm working, deal with the girls, I start streaming. I'm like, I got to drink like 2 cups of coffee in me to like get me going. And then Sunday morning comes around. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So no, Sundays are a lot of fun for sure.
Excellent. So what about you, WickdCricket? Who are you? What do you do, man? What's your streaming schedule?
So I, as I said earlier, I am a teacher. I'm a high school band director in Texas. So I mean, if you guys know about the urban legend of Texas football. Texas marching band is a number 2 to football with how much money and time and investment goes into things. I think we've put it on hold, but like let's just say like last year I think as far as like kids, we had like 200 kids in our marching band, and for like a marching band show, I think we probably spent, somewhere around $50,000 total on the show, and that's on the lower side of things. There's some that's been in the triple digits. I mean, they're 6 figures.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 100,000 plus. They're in Texas. Some bands have, 350 kids in their program. Each kid has a fee of $1,400 to be in the band. So it gets crazy down here. And so on a typical year, during the actual like school year, my schedule is crazy. Easily like from August to November, if I work less than 60 hours, it's a good week. That's not a joke. I mean, there's some days I leave home on a Saturday at 6 a.m. and I don't get home until 2 a.m. the next morning. It'd be crazy sometimes. So balancing and trying to stream with a wife, and now she's almost a year old, coming up on a year old, coming up actually a couple days away from 11 months. But trying to balance all that now, I mean, it was hard enough before she was around to stream to find time and find a regular schedule. It was hard enough. Now it's next to impossible. So currently, though, because of all the COVIDness, I've been streaming basically every other night. I go on live. One night, we put baby cricket to bed, and we'll go watch a couple shows, and then go to bed. And then every other night, we'll put her to bed. I'll come straight in here. I'll start streaming, and I'll typically play from about 9 or 10, and I'll end at around 1 or 2. So 4-hour stream, nothing crazy, nothing big. Mm-hmm. I don't have the energy, like he was saying. I don't have the energy to really go past that. If every now
more than anything.
Yeah, and every now and then I'll sneak some afternoon streams in, but same thing. I feel like hey, we put her down for a nap, quick, start the stream, and then like 3 hours in, I'm like, okay, well, she's been up for about 45 minutes. I should probably get off now. So yeah, it's weird. It's gonna be interesting because I'm coming off of my past 2 or 3 months on stream have been 2 or 3 of my biggest months across the board. So in another month, it's going to be really interesting to see how I'm going to try and maintain all that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, and get on and stay on and have a normal schedule. So it'll be interesting.
Well, Wicked is saying he's not just a band teacher; he's the band teacher.
I can't confirm that it was leaked that I stream, and so there are at any given time I have to assume that someone I see on a regular basis is in the stream. So I definitely have to find P's and Q's. But it's it's like I'm a teacher by day, and then same thing at nighttime. Like a lot of probably you guys do. You have to educate some people that come into your stream. And
my boss has told me he's watched my stream, and like I didn't know he's been in my stream, and I'm just like, when I said I was gonna be partner and maybe work less, I didn't mean all that. Like,
it's funny.
That's good. I like that. Well, I am a BilltheConqueror. I've been a lot of things in my life. Before the COVID shutdown, I was a blackjack dealer, and I worked. I had 3 scheduled days a week, but then I would pick up shifts. I heard it earlier. I've been a fast pitch softball umpire for 20 years, basketball referee, soccer referee. I have 4 grown kids. My youngest is 22, and then the delightful young lady you saw earlier in this podcast, that is my granddaughter, and she will be 3 in about 2.5 weeks. And I have stories on stories, but I stream 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I've been going at 10 a.m. simply for the reset because of Destiny 2. That's going to change next week. I am starting a part-time job at that goes from 10 to 2 each day during the week. A friend of mine wants me to do. I'm doing the marketing outreach for his technology business. I also manage social media for some clients and do some other things. And I'm fortunate that I have grown kids. So, and I've I watch my granddaughter and spend time with my granddaughter when I want to, because I've already raised my kids, and I told them, you know what, I'm doing this. If you don't want me involved, that's fine. Grandpa's got stuff to do, and so I'm pretty fortunate that I get to set my schedule. Even before lockdown, I was dealing Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. So and that was at night. So I'd stream during the day, end my stream at a decent time, get a nap before work, go to work, come home, sleep, and get up. But I feel for all you guys that had kids and also regular jobs and a family and all that, because I did that for a long time. Like I said, I spent 20 years as an umpire. Heck, I traveled the country doing it. So I feel for you. And all I can say is good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Because you'll need it.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit our second question. What is your background in gaming, and like what consoles did you grow up on? What are your favorite games? And do you prefer playing a PvE experience or more of a PvP experience? I think you already kind of hit on this, Merc, with your Sunday classics, but
I started off on the original Nintendo. Went to Super Nintendo. Let me think the order of this. Nintendo 64, then the PlayStation 2, then the Xbox 360, and then I went to the PlayStation 4, and now I'm on PC. All while playing all the handhelds in between all that. I've always played games since I was like 4 or 5 years old. 31 now. Had to think about that for a second. But yeah, and as regards to PvE or PvP, I would say I'm more of a PvE player, but I thoroughly enjoy a good PvP too. I don't know. Like I've never really thought I've preferred one over the other.
I'm like 60-40, I would say.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. Yeah, because like in Destiny, I enjoy every aspect, like Crucible, PvE, even Gambit, as much as everyone hates Gambit. But yeah, I would say probably lean more towards the PvE for sure. But yeah, and RPGs, turn-based RPGs, is what like I grew up on.
Yeah.
Those are basically the majority of what I played. GoldenEye, I played Halo. Like there was always first-person shooters mixed in with all of those RPGs at the same time. Yeah, it's interesting when I think about it.
All right, what about yourself, Cricket?
So it's funny because my mom. So I have a half brother, half sister. They're both 10 years older than me. My mom entered us in some kind of raffle when they were 10. They were 10 or 11. I was 1. And I my claim to fame with gaming is I won an NES when I was a year old.
Oh.
I won it. And so my mom would always say whenever they would fight over it, she would always say, "Well, it's not your system anyway. It's your brother's."
I like that. That's good. I like
that. So anyway, but yeah, so started out at NES. Started out just holding a controller and acting like I was playing while my brother played because I had no idea. And then he kind of helped the path of me gaming, because he'd always, try and get the next system. He got the Sega, and then before he left for the Army, he bought me a PlayStation the year it came out. And, it was $130, and it was like, oh my God, it was $130. How? No, I cannot believe you bought that. My mom was upset. But got a PlayStation. And then I think a couple of years later, I feel like I got an N64 as well. Then kept down the PlayStation track into PlayStation 2. Probably around the same time when PlayStation 2 was out, I had a PC that I started to play a little game called Counter-Strike. Well, Half-Life Counter-Strike is what it was originally called, which was basically, that game was my introduction to PvP, online multiplayer gaming. It was Counter-Strike. Another game called Soldier of Fortune. It was actually Soldier of Fortune 2, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. All these, like, at the time, revolutionary games for online PvP. Then I had to buy the big, thick back part for the PS2 to get online capabilities. I don't know if y'all remember that. It was like it's called like the HDD. And then went through playing a bunch of shooters. That's what I kind of started on. That's what my brother kind of geared me towards, and so I started playing shooters, and went through playing SOCOM, and into Metal Gear Solid, where that was kind of like the most out there game that I played was Metal Gear Solid. Still a shooter, but and then I got into college. I started to dabble in PC again, but it's just because of my roommate. And then I got a PS3, got back into Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. I was just Call of Duty'd out, from about, I'd say I'd say about 2008, 2009. I'd say I did, like, from that point, I was just playing nothing but Call of Duty, all the way until Destiny. And then Destiny was the first game that was not exclusively PvP that I'd say I started playing, like that was the first time I ever experienced a raid. That was the first time I ever experienced, large amounts of online PvE content. And all my friends were on it, and it was huge. It was huge. And, I got very involved in the game, and very, very in depth with learning how to do things and all the little tricks. And here we are 31 years later.
So I started with the Atari 2600. I played
the Atari. Class.
That's right, a man of culture. Only the best. I played the Atari 2600. I played the Intellivision. I played the original original Super Nintendo. I played I did not ever own a PlayStation until I got married to my current wife, and she had a PlayStation 2 that her kids had. But I shifted really quick into the PC side. My first hit of PC gaming that just gave me the fix was I played this game called Command and Conquer. And Command and Conquer was like, it was literally crack. I literally sat in front of my laptop one time for 10 straight hours trying to beat that game.
It's a great game.
This is a great game.
I love Command and Conquer. When I graduated from college and I moved to where I am now, this was back in '98, I purposely bought a computer just so I could download and play Command and Conquer. And then I got my first, I guess you could say my first real big hit with PvP was I played the original Quake like the very first version of Quake, and that was where I figured out capture the flag, and then all I wanted to play was something that had capture the flag. Now I never owned an Xbox and I never played Halo, but I just loved playing capture the flag on Quake. And then I also played my first real, I guess you could say, online LAN experience. I played the original Doom in a computer lab. I'm in a computer lab at Central Washington University in 1996. I was doing a project, and somebody mentioned, "Hey, we have Doom." I'm like, "Oh, you have Doom?" I'm like, so this guy loaded up like 12 of us in this freaking lobby and loaded in a bunch of monsters, and we literally screamed at each other across this computer lab, which was full of like 40 computers. People were trying to do their homework, and we yelled at each other for like an hour about chainsawing, pinkies and shooting each other in the head. And so that was just a freaking blast. So, like I said, I married my current wife. She had a PS2. We played Spyro. I bonded with my kids playing Spyro. And then that's when Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire came out. So I bought all my kids Game Boys, and I bought a Game Boy because you can't, you have to play with your kids. So we bought all the guides and we ran through it. So when I would fly across country for these softball games, I would bring my Game Boy with me and literally spend 4 hours on a plane trying to beat all these games, Leaf Red and Fire, or Leaf Green, Fire Red, and just like over and over and over again. So I found Destiny, like I said, I found Destiny about 2.5 years ago. My son said, "Dad, you got to check out this game. It's free to play." And this was my son for my first marriage. Exactly, Taken Soul. I'm a fossil. And
I was gonna say, I think Spyro 2 was the first game I ever beat.
Okay, and so my son at the time, you think he had just graduated. I took him to TwitchCon in San Francisco for his for the senior project that he had to do for high school. So about a year after that, he pointed me out to Destiny. Then my son bought me a Forsaken. He spent $70 and bought me Forsaken, and I was hooked because my son made the time to play with me. And old dad doesn't know anything, but he made the time to play with me. So then I've been hooked ever since, and we spend a lot of time together playing Destiny 2. And yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
I love the Pokemon games.
Oh, dude, me too.
So do I. Do I.
So is there any projects or special streams or anything you'll have coming up that you'd like to tell people about?
Not particularly, because my chat wants to put together a community goal to put the channel points together to make a dress stream happen. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay.
But see, yeah, there you go, Kylie, right there.
Something similar with some of the, let's just say, the younger people that come to my stream. They keep saying that I need to have a channel point of playing Minecraft.
Oh boy!
I've never played Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft.
Trying to troll you right there. Don't fall for it.
How many channel points for a Minecraft stream?
It's a trap!
I'm like, yeah. So that's something that you said that, and they keep saying Minecraft stream. How much? 200.
I had a cupcake eating contest with a fellow streamer like 2 years ago, and I lost. And the bet was I had to do a dress stream. And ever since then, begging for another one. And I'm like, I lost the bet. You guys realize that, right? I lost.
Do it again.
That's funny.
I'm really nothing that I'm currently working on though. As far as like a project or anything like that. I mean, like I said, my project is figuring out what the hell is my next month gonna look like, when I start
Mm-hmm.
working again and trying to balance all this stuff out. That's my project right now.
I hear you, man.
My project is to make more like channel redemptions. That's my ongoing project right now, is more channel redemptions.
Seems fair.
I have two things working. One, I have an interview planned on coming Monday. It's gonna be 7 a.m. my time, but the guy that I'm interviewing, he's the chief technical officer of a telecom company based out of Kenya. And so I have a couple friends that I have a friend who's in Zambia. She's the co-founder of an esports org there, and one of their major issues is that they really don't have dedicated servers in their country. And so I wanted to interview him to get a better understanding of what it means to have a better technological backbone for a country. And when we talk about a country like Africa, they have this massive stretch of land in the middle. It's desert, and you can't do anything there. You can't have anything go through it, or it's just this wasteland, and it poses a lot of barriers to growth. And so I wanted to get his insight on what that means. And the second project is I'm going to write some Destiny 2 fan fiction.
Oh, cool.
You're going to do it, huh?
I'm actually going to do it. So, for those of you who don't know, short version. So even though Bungie's not going to do this, you have not had a Hunter Vanguard in a long time. Okay, you have so you have Uldren Sov coming back. Well, what did Uldren do? He killed Cade. But he doesn't know that now because he's a Guardian. Well, everybody knows that he did it, but he doesn't. He doesn't understand why everybody's mad at him. But they haven't had a Vanguard, and Zavala's like, you're not going to be in the Vanguard. And then you have Ikora, who is conflicted. Then you have Saint 14, and Saint 14 is going to be like, I don't know you, but you deserve forgiveness and a second chance. So Saint puts his arms around Uldren. Zavala hates his guts because he killed Cade and caused all that trouble in the Dreaming City. And so the city becomes divided. And then Saint and Zavala decide, you know what? Let's just have it out. You and me, Crucible, one-on-one, let's go. And so Saint and Zavala are just pounding the crap out of each other because they're Titans. And partway through the fight, even though they're pretty evenly matched, Zavala realizes this will only make things worse. We have to deal with the darkness. We can't have the city divided. We can't have Guardians divided. So Zavala says to Saint, you know what, Saint? I'm going to give up. You win. And Zavala gives up, and Saint wins. Everybody wraps their arms around Uldren because everybody loves Saint 14. Saint 14 becomes the new Titan Vanguard. Zavala becomes the new Speaker. Uldren becomes the new Hunter Vanguard. And Ikora has a spiritual crisis. And she goes away. She doesn't know what to do. She's conflicted about her friend, but she knows that there has to be a Hunter Vanguard, and so she has a spiritual crisis, and she goes away. So that's going to be the story right there.
All right. Well, so this next week, or I guess, so my birthday is on the 20th on Monday. And we're actually going to be heading out to Michigan to go visit my mom for a couple of days before I come back. So I'm going to be gone for probably most of that week. But we'll be doing a special podcast next Saturday and probably a stream through that day for my birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll try to get some good people on for the podcast. I have some ideas for people I want to ask. Vapin, if you're still here, you're one of the people I want to ask. But we're also, from now on, I'm going to try to do raids every Thursday, Friday, get different streamers together to kind of not only just get people through the raids who haven't done it and need the stuff from them, but also a good way to network and hang out and kind of get to know each other better. So hopefully that'll still work. But thank you all so much. We are again 40 minutes after our allotted time, so we're gonna be skipping the question. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys.
I'm totally messing with you.
I took notes.
You took notes. Did you use your notes? That's a good question.
I even have right here. What is the exotic weapon you want? I have it all written out right there. See.
I'm sorry, man.
Right
You can tell us your exotic if you want to.
no, it's okay.
All right.
Sorry.
But yeah. So appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm gonna do shout outs to everybody before we leave. And thank you all so much for stopping on. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. Hope you all want to be on again sometime.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed my time.
Excellent.
Thanks for having us.
Again, go follow BilltheConqueror over on Twitch. Follow MercShow. And go follow WickdCricket. So thank you all so much. This is the 9th episode of the first episode, technically, of the Journey Gaming's Destiny 2 podcast, streaming podcast. 9th episode overall for podcasts that I've been doing. So hope you all had a good time, and we'll see you all next Saturday. So have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.